I will be going over some problems for exam 1 review problems. Basically, exam 1 we are going to cover order of operations and fractions, everything about fractions. We are going to have add, subtract, multiply, divide, and how these operations and this fraction is going to be worked in real life situation or story problems. So I am going to give you a summary of all the possible problems that is going to be on exam 1. So that's why I call this video as exam 1 review. So let me talk about order of operations with a couple of problems and then move on to fraction, some basic stuff. Basically, I'm going to do more on the real life and story problem to review for our exam. So let me take order of operation problem. Here we are going to use parentheses first, exponent, and then multiplication, and then division, then addition and subtraction. The another thing we need to understand here is we are going to go from left to right. In that way we are going to decide on what comes first and what is the next one. So here if you look at it, parentheses, we need to do the parenthesis. So we are going to have 3 to the power 3 times 14 square plus 15 minus 11 is 4, and then we have 4 times 9. Then we will do the exponent. So 3 times 3 times 3. So this is going to be, you can write it like 3 times 3 times 3, and this is going to be 14 times 14 plus this is 4 times 9. So now we need to multiply the whole thing and then we need to multiply that. So this is going to be 36 and we need to multiply this. So when you multiply these three, you will be getting 27, and then you need to multiply 14 and 14. So let's multiply first 14 and 14. So I'm getting 196 when I multiply 14 and 14, but I already multiplied the 3, 3, 3, 27. So I need to multiply these two together now. So it's going to be 196 times 27. So this one is 2, 4, 7, 6, 13. So I have 2, 9, 2. So I have 5, 2, 9, 2. So now last one is addition. So I need to add these two. So it's going to be 5, 2, 9, 2, 3, 6, 8, 2, 3, 5. So this is going to be 5, 3, 2, 8. That is the answer. Okay, so let's do a couple of more problems on this. Next problem I got here, this is also use the order of operation to simplify. So here again, if you look at this, the parentheses first, and then the exponent, and then multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. But we need to do in the order, like I said, left to right. So the parenthesis part, I have 5 here, 19 minus 14, 5, but let me write down everything here. Okay. Now, we have to go from left to right. The priority is whatever comes left, that is going to be done first. So 20 divided by 4 is going to be done first before multiplying, because we are giving priority to the leftmost thing. So this is going to be 5, 20 divided by 4, and then of course you have a times 7 times here. This is again another division needs to be done before doing anything. So this is going to be 4. So this I did here, and then I did the division. I took care of the division before I okay, now what do I get here by division? I have 5 times 7, so 35 times 4, which is 140. So I'm writing the answer 140. Okay, this is the order of operation. Next, the last problem I wanted to show you is, this is the order of operation where we have a fraction involved here. Okay, so let me rewrite the problem. It is 5 over 4 divided by 6 over 7 plus 2 over 7. So let's do the parenthesis first. Okay, so of course the two denominators are the same, so we can add those. So it's going to be 8 over 7, 5 over 4. Again, if you are dividing, what we need to do is, you need to find the reciprocal of the second fraction. The reciprocal meaning you flip it upside down, which is 7 over 8, and then this reciprocal sign becomes multiplication. This division sign becomes multiplication, and this 5 over 4. And of course, when you multiply across the numerator, across the denominator. So you have 35 over 32. 35 over 32. Now, this is a improper fraction, right? So let's make it as a mixed number. So divide 35, 32, 1 times 32, and you have a 3 as the remainder. So it's going to be 1, 3 over 32. So that is going to be this answer D if you look at it here. Okay, so far we discussed the order of operation problem. And another one I wanted to show you next is the difference between proper fraction and improper fraction. Here, this is the problem. List the proper fractions in the group. So there are some fractions given. We need to find out what is the proper fraction. So how do we find the proper fraction? In a proper fraction, the numerator should be less than denominator. That's the rule. So look at here. The numerator is less than the denominator because this is D. Let me put D, denominator, this is numerator. Of course, 1 is less than 4. Here, numerator, denominator. So here is not, so this is going to be an improper fraction. So let's cross this out. Here, I want you to look at here. Here, they both are the same. But the rule is the numerator should be less than the denominator. Here, they are the same. So we don't consider this. And here, obviously, the numerator is more than the denominator. So I don't consider this. And this one, obviously, no. So the only thing which will fit in this description is the proper fraction according to the rule. Thus 1 over 4, that is the answer for this problem. That is the only one which is a proper fraction. Let's do some more problems on fractions. Another one I wanted to show you here is, let me check. Okay. The question here is whether the pair of fractions is equivalent or not. Equivalent or not. So here we have two fractions given. 1 over 2, 18 over 10. We need to decide whether these two are equal or not. Okay, so let's assume that they are equal. Okay, that means how do we find equivalent fractions? Like 2 multiplied by 5 gave us 10 in the first place, right? whatever you do for the denominator, you do for the numerator. That means your numerator should have been multiplied by 5. So if you multiply by 1 times 5, you should have got 5 top. But instead you have a 18. That means something wrong calculation. It is wrong. So what I would say is, since it's not matching up, it is wrong, I would say they are not equivalent. Okay, this is how we check it. We go from assuming it is true and then find out what number is multiplied in order to get this number from the original number. We try to do the same thing here. If suppose here also I have a 5, then I will say yes. But somehow the multiplication is not done right, so it is not equivalent. So that is a simple one to figure out whether the two fractions are equal or not. The next problem I wanted to show you here. Okay. Here it says, Mr. and Mrs. Williams have a home equity loan of $35,700. They have paid off 4/21 of the loan. How much of the loan they have paid? So here somebody paid 4/21. This is the part. This much fraction of this loan they paid off. So this is their original loan. They got this home equity loan and they have paid this much of that loan. That means how much of the loan they have paid off. Okay. So let's take this. I'll show you here the work. Here they started with $35,700. Out of that, they paid this much fraction. See, if 1 is the whole loan, they paid 4/21 fraction. Okay, this is the amount they already paid. So this gives you a fraction, but we need to know what does that mean, how much money that mean. That's the question. So the way we find out is 4/21 times 35,700. That is how we find the paid off money from their loan. So when you multiply a fraction and a whole number, always put a placeholder 1 at the bottom. And then you multiply the numerators together. So I would get and then I multiply the denominators together. So we can even check that means what I have done here to get a huge number is I multiplied 35,704. So I have okay. So I have 142,800 at the top and 21 at the bottom. So we will just go ahead and divide it. That way we can get the dollars and cents, right? So let's go ahead and divide it. 21. So how many times? 142. 21 go in, 142 how many times? So we will say yeah, it goes 6 times first, so and then 16, and then we bring the 8 down, so it's going to be 8, and then we need to, the 2 zeros are left out, that 2 zeros goes right here. So what they have done is they paid $6,800 from that loan. Okay, so if you look at this question, let me go back to the question sheet I have here. This is the problem. So the $6,800, that's the money they paid off. Okay. Next problem, it says during elections at the local union, 5/12 of the members voted. If there are 120 members, how many voted? So this is same thing like the previous problem. Instead of money, it is people who voted. So totally 120 members in that union, and 5/12 of that out of 120 voted for this thing, whatever they were voting for. So the way we find out here is again multiplication. So you have to multiply 120 by 5/12. Like I said, you multiply the numerators together. So it's going to be like 120 times 5 and then 1 times 12. So when you divide, you get 50. That means 50 of the people voted for this thing here. Okay, so if you look at the problem here, this is the problem I'm talking about. So the 50 members voted for this thing. Next thing I wanted you to look at here is multiplying two fractions. So a rectangular sheet of paper measures 1/3 foot by 4/5 foot. Find its area. So the length and width are 1/3 and 4/5. We all know the area of the rectangle is length times width. So the way we need to find the area is, let's go ahead and multiply 1/3 times 4/5. Again, multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and you get 4/15. That is the area of the rectangle. Now let's do some more problems on application. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this. There is a pie given. Like I said, when we are talking about fraction, we obviously, in our class we looked at the pizza pie and thought how many people took this pizza and that part and this. So here also a typical night of Skinny's Pizza, 240 pizzas are ordered. How many cheese pizzas ordered? So here, so sausage, mushroom, cheese, ham and pepperoni. So the question is, how many cheese pizzas ordered? Okay, so totally 240 pizzas ordered, right? So let's say cheese. Cheese is 1/5, right? So the way we find out how many cheese pizzas ordered, you have 1/5 times 240, and again you multiply the numerators. You always put a placeholder. 240 over 5, which is going to be 48, I believe, right? So 48 cheese pizza ordered.